and some other things, including an Emmy and an Oscar nomination and some of those kinds of things. I don't mean to embarrass you, but it's significant achievements. And won the Emmy for the most peculiar thing, I have to tell you. You remember on the Oscars, the beginning thing a year ago, Hugh Jackman did that great little thing at the beginning?
Yeah.
That Rob and another student friend guy named Dan Harmon, and some other people too, I think there are a couple of other...
Ben,
yeah.
Who I don't think
but you know, but it was such an outstanding little beginning of the Oscars compared to most. People were just astonished, and here was Hugh Jackman being wonderful in this intricately peculiar little deal that they'd given him to do that was full of Rob and Dan-isms, and probably Ben-isms too, but I don't know Ben well enough to know. But, and then he gets an Emmy for doing the Oscars. I just thought that was such a wonderful hybrid.
It doesn't seem possible, but only in this business.
But there you go. Yeah. So, and I've had the pleasure of helping Rob with some development things and some things that have happened since then, which has been truly fun, and one that just sold. And
yeah, we sold a movie thanks to...
Well, only in small part, but I got to contribute a little bit. Yeah. Jen is here, and you all know Jen from being around here because she works with us here, helping us make sure the acting classes are full and fun and working. Jen is here because she's at that stage of building career where the little increments of this and that are falling into a place that is beginning to mean her living is getting earned. And that has to do with some voiceover over here that has kind of grown, and then just being cast in the lead in a new play where she's singing for the first time in a long time, and cast in the lead in a musical, and that was like a little triumph. Yeah, it's great. And so she's here because she's at a development stage that many of you find your own careers. And Ryan is here because, again, Ryan I've known for a long time and sort of came through the same sort of circle of folks that Rob did, except the Florida contingent of that. Because there's a big group of people that have come from Florida and found us because of an agent there that has heard of us, an agent teacher, and who sends people to us. And so a lot of that contingent. And Ryan's career has been as an improvisational actor and a creator. Some of you may have seen the Lord of the Rings musical that he and a bunch of friends worked on and created together that is fantastic and really fun, and been resurrected several times, and I hope again sometime soon. And I'd love to see it in New York, but any of you who've seen it, it's terrific. And Ryan also had he's got this really interesting problem in the development of his career, which is he's an actor, he's a very gifted improviser, and has had an improvisational show that he was a part of, and then he is also a gifted writer. And so there was a wonderful little highly paid, I assume reasonably paid detour as a staff writer. I mean, highly paid compared to zero, as a staff writer on Mad TV. And that was 3 seasons? 3? Yeah. And then Mad TV finally hit its last season. And then Ryan is back in the actor pool and also writing some stuff, creating some stuff, but in this transitional period, which I know has been occasionally challenging, but also which says, how do I let people know all the things I do and not have them freak out? Because my managers who had, enjoyed my success as a writer with me sort of see me there and at the same time want to help this other thing. And then how do I make all of that happen and keep this sort of hybrid thing that I do, and especially lean it toward the acting, which he finds more and more and more enjoyable and satisfying and definitive. So I hope I kind of have captured stuff about each of you, sort of. But first of all, anything in particular about what Karin said that you want to react to? it's really those same questions I want to ask. You know, how have you kept going? What was the crisis moment? What got you past it? How do you deal with the success of others around you? Because all of you have worked with others that have done really well and you've had to watch it. You've also, I'm sure, dealt with the folks that are going, oh, well, lucky Rob, you know, everything's going well, and then you've got to go, yeah, it's been nice, but I still have these other aspirations, these things I want to do. And that's the biggest thing for me that has been true about this in the years that I've spent, is I have never yet known an actor who was finished with their success, who thought they were successful enough. There's always been something else. That's the nature of the arts. It asks for more. There's never an end point, you know, and because it ends up, when there's plenty of money, it's not about money anymore. Now it's about being recognized for this, or being really acknowledged for that, or doing something different. Or today in the preview class, a young man brought up the fact that he's a waiter at Farmer's Market, one of the little food things there. He said this kind of roundish guy came in and sat down and was in the menu, and he walked over to take his order and suddenly realized it was Drew Carey, and he said, oh, Mr. Carey, I'm a young actor, can you give me any advice? And he said, Drew just said, I don't want to give you any advice, just go to Sam Christensen. And but Drew came here at the other end of it. Drew came here after 10 years on the show. Money was not the issue, you know, there was plenty of money, but it was like, now I have some cachet. I'm not really sure why it was people were tuning in all that time. What do I do next? What will both suit my temperament and suit what it is that people... And Drew ended up taking a really unpredictable direction, but one that turns out to really be right for him. Because everybody thought, oh, you should do another series. Turns out not. You know, turns out he's on The Price is Right and he's happy as a clam. You know, doing that. You know, and that kind of, so there's a lot of different ways that this all comes up. And I know for him, there was the issue of all the other comics that started at the same time he did, many of whom got pilots like he did, you know, but their pilots were just a pilot, and the Drew Carey Show ended up being on for 10. Well, then what do you do with that? And all the people who resent it, you know, then there's that issue that build. So there are all these kind of things that I wanted to just talk about in any way you guys wanted to tonight. So, kick in with anything you want.
We talk about boobs.
Yeah, boobs. Sure. Ladies first.
Yeah.
Well, here's what happened to me. Last year, I've been in LA for almost 12 years now. I went to USC, so I cheated a little and started there. But last year, I went from having nobody in my life with children to 4 babies being born, and in like my close proximity. So I spent the whole year meeting these babies and being obligated to other people is really what ended up happening. And I got so tired at the end of the year from then also on top of that workshopping and dropping off and postcarding and all that stuff that we do. I got so tired that I just said, you know what, next year I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna design my day, because I don't believe in that whole like where do you want to be in 5 years thing, because if I were really going to answer that, the answer would be having dinner with George Clooney at his personal residence and wherever he lives, because I'm so successful and I've just done my 3rd movie with him. But like, I don't know. So I just decided that what I can't control where I'm going to be in 5 years, but I can control where I'm going to be tomorrow and what my day is going to feel like. So I realized that what I wanted to do was to be able to support myself as an actor and to contribute to my family's income and to not have to feel so less than all the time. So after a lot of prodding and people stopping me on the street and going to commercial auditions and having the casting director there say, "Did you voice it?" I finally got my demo made.